Hi folks, welcome to another Moviehooker video. I'm Gary from Moviehooker and I'm going to be taking you through Moviehooker's most anticipated horror movies of 2024. My own personal taste. So hold on to get the article up. Like 2023 was an absolutely insane year for horror, and a lot of the movies that I have talked about throughout the year have been playing at festivals, so they don't have a release date yet, so they are going to be released sometime next year. But if you've been following Moviehooker for a while, then chances are you're going to know a lot of these movies, and a couple of them are pretty, well, not mainstream, but I've got Robert Eggers in there, for example, Nosferatu. So where are we? Right, Moviehooker's most anticipated horror movies for 2024. Okay, first up we have, Nosferatu is the first one on my list here. This is the new remake of the classic gothic horror movie Nosferatu, and it stars Lily Rose Depp, Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoult, Willem Dafoe, Emma Corrin. There's a lot of fucking big names in it, and I've said before when I'm talking about Robert Eggers, I really liked The Witch, or I could really appreciate The Witch. I adored. Oh, I have to try and stop cursing. I adored the Lighthouse. Absolutely adored it. And then The Northman. The Northman was it was a spectacle even to look at. It was beautifully made, beautifully shot, but it just lacked something for me. But it doesn't mean that I didn't like it. I could still really, really appreciate it because of him going from The Witch, which was New England folk horror or something, New England folk horror tale, he called it. Then to do something that was 100% Lovecraftian in The Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. Then he fucking went on and done a Viking revenge saga, and that was three separate genres for a filmmaker that's only made three fucking movies. And that's really, really impressive. So we'll just move on from that. That's Nosferatu. That's getting released on Christmas Day, 2024. So I've also said it's going to be good getting up at Christmas morning, saying, fuck you, Superman. Fuck you, I have to stop cursing. Home Alone, and maybe not Gremlins. But, it's going to be great that on Christmas Day, us horror fans are going to be able to sit down and watch Nosferatu. It's fucking that. I can't think of a better Christmas movie. So next up is one called Everything Will Burn. This is a new Spanish horror, and it sounds fantastic. It's about a woman who's on the verge of suicide because she lost her son, I think, to suicide as well. The year previous, she can't see any other way out, and she decides to end her own life. But when she does that, just as she's about to jump off a bridge or whatever form of suicide she's trying to do, she is approached by this mysterious little girl, and this mysterious little girl automatically gives this woman a motherly purpose once again. But the little girl may be a prophecy that her whole town has been fearing for years. And yeah, the little kid's pretty much Damien Thorne, I think, or something like that, or the devil himself in female form. And yes, she is a devil child or whatever. It's meant to be graphic. The poster looks beautiful. The poster is so bright and colorful. And it's just got this little girl standing and looking at this guy in complete flames, spontaneous combusted into flames. And it's beautiful, a beautiful font. Everything Will Burn. But that is Everything Will Burn. It looks really, really good as well. Right. Okay. Next up, we have Wake Up. I've been looking forward to this for far too long, man. So Wake Up is the new movie. I can't remember who the director is, which is a bit shit on my behalf here, but I know the writer. And once I heard the writer of this movie, this is when I got extremely excited, because the writer, Alberto Marini, is the writer of the flawless, one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and that's called Sleep Tight. And it's just one of the creepiest horror movies that achieves so much doing so little. Also always driven by the two brilliant leads in Sleep Tight. So anyway, when I heard Alberto Marini was writing this movie, firstly, I heard that this movie was mean as feck. It was mean-spirited. The director does not give two craps about your feelings or about anybody else's feelings, for that matter. And it's about a load of environmental activists who break into like an IKEA-like store. They hide underneath the shelves or something and then come out when the store closes and then vandalize the place in their protest against deforestation or whatever the fuck they're protesting. And but what they don't know is that there's also a security night watchman, but this guy is a seriously skilled killer, a skilled hunter. I'm not sure if he's the army or whatever, or just like a redneck hunter. But yes, he is on the verge of a psychotic break, and these kids break him. They push him over that psychotic edge, and he just says, "Feck you all, I'm going to take these out one by one," and it's meant to be mean as feck. Now, I will say that I did watch a clip of it. There's been no poster released or no official trailer, but there is a clip on YouTube. And you see the activists, and then you hear the intercom, and it's a security night watchman on the intercom, the killer. And I could have swore he was about to say, "Do you want to play a game?" I could have swore he was going to say that. I was thinking, man, this voice it's just a little bit too jigsaw for me. But I'm going by the reviews and what I've heard, that this is a mean-spirited director, gives no craps about anybody's feelings, and it just goes straight for your jugular. So that's called Wake Up. Next up, oh, I can't wait for this. This one's called Vermin. I have been talking about this a lot. If you hate spiders, avoid it. If you think, oh, spiders, I can handle spiders, they're only little spiders. Trust me, apparently this movie here is going to make you terrified of spiders, whether you're already terrified or not. If you're already terrified, stay away from it. But if you're not, prepare to have a new phobia, arachnophobia. So, yes, this is about a kid in a high-rise apartment block in Paris that collects exotic insects or exotic animals. I think insects. But he gets this exotic spider from God knows where. And of course, the spider gets loose. And this is a highly venomous, poisonous spider. And not only is it highly venomous, it's also extremely horny. And it's going out mating with all the other spiders. And every time this spider mates, there's a new evolution of a different spider brought on it. It looks brilliant. And the sound design in this looks fantastic as well. I love the sound design of creepy crawlies. And so, yeah, this has also been described as Attack the Block, only with spiders. So these guys, everybody's trapped inside this high-rise apartment building, and they can't get out because of all the goddamn killer spiders. So that's Vermin, aka Infested, which is the English title. Next up, another one I've been really looking forward to. This is probably going to be coming in the beginning of the year, and this is called Late Night with the Devil. There was a similar movie with a similar premise done called The Cleansing Hour or something, but this seems to be way more in-depth. It's set in the 70s. It's real retro looking. One of the finest movie posters I've seen this year was from Late Night with the Devil. And basically, it's about a live exorcism on television in the 1970s. And in the middle of the exorcism, they mess up or something happens, and they unleash some sort of demonic force, demonic signal through the television waves, and it goes into the entire nation's living rooms. So when I hear something like that, I am like, this could be possession on like an apocalyptic scale, something that we've never ever seen before. If this signal's going into everybody's house, then everybody in the nation's going to be possessed by a demon, and that's what I'm hoping for. But here's another thing, if that hasn't sold it for you, then The Fall of the House of Usher and The Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass, Mike Flanagan, you know who I'm on about already, has completely singing its praises. So if Mike Flanagan's on board, and he is one of the most important filmmakers of today, then it's got my vote as well. So next up is an Indonesian horror called Tiger Stripes. I was sort of on the fence about this one a little bit because of the plot. It was like about a young teenage girl whose body starts to go through some changes. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that, but it's body horror. This isn't like just some drama about some little kid going through puberty or whatever. This is a body horror. I'm not sure what these changes are, but Timo Tjahjanto from one of the Timo brothers has came out and he's been singing its praises. I'm a huge fan of both Timo Johanto and Kimo Stambo, the Timo brothers. And I just, if they're on board, then I'm on board. So that's Tiger Stripes. Next up, I don't know an awful lot about this one, but damn man, the stills that I've seen look really, really creepy. This is a psychological horror called Stop Motion, and it's about a woman who's a stop motion artist who starts to go insane and starts believing that her own creepy as hell creations that she makes are coming to life. And that's all I really know about that. IFC have bought the film, so I will keep you up to date on that one. Right, here's another one that sounds, it's going to be an acquired taste, that's for sure, right? And I love these movies. You know, movies set in one location with very little cast members, and it's just independent horror filmmaking at its very, very finest. Once you've got a good script and some strong actors, all you need is one room to pull this off. So the coffee table, all I know about this movie, guys, is that it's about a coffee table. That's all I know. I've read some reviews and I kept going past anything that went into any detail because I don't want to spoil it for myself as well. So yes, it's about a husband who purchases a coffee table and something happens in this one room with the husband, the wife, and maybe another couple of people. I'm not too sure what happens to who and where. But what I have heard is that if you are pregnant, then you should stay the hell away from this movie. So it's meant to be sort of oddly, darkly funny for the first half, and then it sort of like delves into the complete disturbing horror. So it's going to be a trigger warning, I'd say, for a lot of people. So that's the coffee table. Next up, it's not my last one. Next up is Speak No Evil, the remake. So we all know about Speak No Evil, the Danish film from 2021 or 2022. And it was one of the most movies I've ever seen a separated fan base. You either love this or you hate it. You love it because of the whole story and the way it unfolds, which is told purposely. I thought it was very, very well told and everything was intentional. And I could explain, I'm not a dad, I've got loads of ducks and chickens and dogs and cats and stuff, but, you know, people would say, oh, the parent mode would kick in. And I always say, I'm pissed off saying it, that it's only in movies have we been taught or been told and taught that once someone is in danger, then our military training will kick in and we'll just become badasses. Whereas in reality, if you're faced with such unimaginable terror and horror, you're more than likely going to freeze. And that's it. So not everybody's Jason fucking Bourne in movies, you know, or Liam Neeson in movies. This was made because of the politeness and the naivety of Danish people as well, apparently, according to the director. So anyway, the remake is by James Watkins. He's writing and directing. James Watkins is the writer and director of the fantastic, grim, bleak, beautifully bleak Eden Lake, which I recently rewatched again. So while I'm not big into remakes, and especially something that's just been out, you know, it's not even out like a couple of years, and now there's an English language remake, but I've always said that there's so much left unexplored in that movie, and if James Watkins goes down any one of those paths, then we're going to still get a really original and hopefully still truly disturbing horror movie. Like, I will say quick, at the end of Speak No Evil, when these two did the final act, I'll not spoil it in case you haven't seen it, but what the director originally wanted to shoot was a combination of killings, I guess. And so you would see all these people in different scenes getting whatever way they all get killed. So you did see the scene in the movie where the husband went up the stairs and he was in the attic and there was like pictures of people all over the place. So these guys have been doing this for years, going around killing people and the serial killer thing. So if they do explore the serial killers even a little bit more, I'm all up for it. But listen, It's written and directed by James Watkins. It's starring James McAvoy, Scoot McNairy, and I have to say, I've been calling Scoot Scott ever since Monsters in 2013, I think it was released. And also Mackenzie Davis, James McAvoy, and Scoot McNairy. And that is it. Speak No Evil remake. That is definitely coming. I think it's December 2024. Okay, now the last one on this list, I do have a lot more horror movies as well to be going through, but I'm just going to do them in separate videos because it's hard to keep the old attention going, and I don't want to be boring these. So this one, like, I'm going to tell you now, 100%. I nearly shat myself once I seen the trailer for this. I was that excited. I know, excuse the language there, but this is like Handling the Undead. This is a new Norwegian zombie movie, and you know, based on a novel by, hold on, have I got his name here? I'm not even going to try and say, based on a novel by the author who wrote Let the Right One In. Okay, so it's like John Lidfist or something. I'm not too sure, but yes. So anything, as you know, Let the Right One In is probably one of the best vampire films in existence. It is so good, and it's absolutely flawless. So if he can do vampires that well, then you can almost be guaranteed that if he's going to tackle the zombie genre, he's going to do something very similar. And that's what this one looks like. This looks creepy as hell. And man, there's like a dead kid in the trailer, and it's like, Jesus, that just looks wrong. It just looks wrong. But anyway, the dead, the recently deceased, have started coming back in Oslo, only in Oslo, in Norway, and no one has any idea why. So that's all I really know. It does very much seem, there was a French series called The Revenant, which was remade as The Returned in a British series, I think, with The Returned, both very good, where it's like they come back and they're just dead inside. They're not, George A. Romero, I'm going to eat you up, I'm going to bite you, or Return of the Living Dead brains. You know, they're not like that. They are just emotionless, void of any thought. And yes, then they do start to, it looks like they do start to have some cannibalistic cravings, I will say. Cannibalistic cravings is a good one. All right, thank you. And yeah, and then towards the end of the trailer, you sort of see some zombies, or like this big bald zombie just tapping a window. And I was like, okay, right. So that the end of the trailer looked very George A. Romero to me, the bumbling, slow zombie that, you know, to me, the whole zombie genre was terrifying and still does terrify me, even though zombie movies aren't fucking scary whatsoever. But like, what always terrified me about zombie movies was just the overpowering. Like, yeah, if there's one or there's two or three or four, you could like get through them, walk past them. But if there's like hundreds of them, then you have no chance. And that's always really scared me about zombie movies. So yes, that is Handling the Undead. I will say as well, so they had The Revenant, the French one, The Returned, which was the British remake. There's also one called The Cured, which is an Irish zombie movie, very similar, where people who've been had a zombie virus have been actually cured, but they keep having to take drugs to keep their zombiness at bay. And then there was also an Australian series called Glitch, which is really good. So there you go. I said Handling the Undead is the new one. And then we have The Revenants, which is the French one, The Returned, which is the British one, Glitch, Australian, and then The Cured, which is Irish. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 other movies, as well as Handling the Undead. 5 movies I just talked about in one movie, and they're all great. So guys, that is it for this list anyway of Moviehooker's best anticipated horror movies of 2024. Thank you very much. If you enjoy this video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and all that jazz. Thank you very much.